All right, 4 in a row, back to 500. One game at a time, climbing out of this hole. But let me not bury the lead. Jordan Poole makes his return to the Bay. Got a lot of love from all the players, the fans, and, I think Draymond not being there certainly made the situation far less uncomfortable than it could have been, right? And look, man, I think Jordan, like people are like, see, they do love him. They do love. I think we all have a friend like Jordan. I think we all have a friend like Jordan where you love him. You love him in small doses, though. He's not someone you want to be around all the time. Certainly not someone you probably want to work with. He's your boy that you go to Vegas with, right? And so, yeah, man, it was cool. It was cool to see the vibes and the love between the Poole and his former teammates. And, he got his opportunity last night to get up shots and score. But, he scored 20 points, right? But he was a traffic cone defensively. If you're paying attention, I mean, the whole team is. I guess, he kind of can hide on this Wizards team defensively because they're all bad. It's not as glaring, right? But listen, I think for Jordan, eventually what's going to happen is he'll probably be traded from the Wizards, and he will wind up in his rightful role, which it should have always been, and that is a microwave scorer off the bench. No Andrew Wiggins last night. I guess he was ill. There's always something with this guy, right? There's always something, but does it matter now the way Kuminga's playing, right? You talk about seizing your opportunity. You heard Darrell Wright and Mully and these guys ask him post-game about the game slowing down for him, right? It's a very obvious thing when you watch him play right now. And I think where you can spot it the most is when he starts to get downhill, he no longer predetermines his read. As a younger player, rookie year, a year ago, he loved that spin move, right? And he had a predetermined move set, either a Euro step or a spin move. And now you're seeing him start to get downhill and just be patient and read what's happening. Take what the defense gives him. You're seeing him use that big heavy step, the delayed heavy step to kind of like slow down, make the read. And he's understanding how big and athletic he can be, especially when there's no rim protection in there, right? And it's really just showcasing his physical gifts even more, right? The deceleration, the body control, the explosiveness in small spaces, pause, right? But it's all coming together. I think the thing that has maybe surprised me more than anything, because we all knew his potential as a finisher at the basket in that athleticism, is the playmaking wrinkle. Right? You saw him in the corner give the extra one to Clay, got trapped on the baseline, wrap pass to CP. He's making all the reads. He understands the offense. And when you typically look at a player of his archetype, a big athletic wing who likes to finish above the rim, they usually aren't interested in being playmakers or making the extra pass. And so to add that wrinkle to everything else that's coming along with Kuminga, we've always said, how high his ceiling is. You can talk about Franz Wagner, Josh Giddey, these guys that were drafted around him. And the argument always was, well, yeah, Kuminga's ceiling is higher, right? But then if you've watched the NBA long enough, how often do these guys actually reach their ceiling? But now with this opportunity, man, I mean, Kuminga, it's looking more and more likely as he climbs up what he can be. So that's super exciting. And I guess the other funny part was, right, he outplayed Kuzma. That was like plain and simple. Kuzma, he wanted to go to the locker room. He's like, I can't deal with this dude. This dude too nice, right? And someone that tweeted me, they're like, yeah, that's right. He's better than Kuzma already. Not so fast, right? Kuzma is a good player, man. And Kuminga has to do this more consistently. If he plays this way all the way up and through to the All-Star break, then I'd say, yeah, he is, right? But right now it's too small of a sample size. But what it showed me is, again, that word ceiling, it shows me his ceiling is higher than what Kuzma is right now. Kuzma is like a finished product, right? He's in the prime of his career. Kuminga can be better than that. And again, Kuzma's a damn good player, albeit on a terrible team. And we'll talk about the Wizards here in a second. Trace, he got some suspect whistles in that second quarter, some suspect whistles that kept the Wizards in the game probably longer than I think all of us would have liked, right? But I think he's going to start to gain the respect of the referees as they become familiar with his game, because when you look at that wide base and how heavy and strong he is, he gets vertical so well. He contests without fouling so well. And I think the issue for a lot of guys is when they try to go up to get vertical, they're going to get collapsed in, right? They can't hold their ground. And so then their arms come down, right? And that's where that call gets made a lot. But again, Trace is so strong and he's so heavy, he can just stay vertical the whole time. And so he's going to have to start to gain the respect of the refs. But there was that sequence where he blocks the shot, he trails the play, pick and roll, lob, dunk with CP. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, man, you can't teach that. You can't teach that timing and feel, right? You can't teach the timing and feel he has. And man, I feel lucky. I think Dub Nation, we should be lucky that we found a way to get this kid where we did, right? And the other aspect of the rebounding, you know me, I'm not a stat guy. Like, how often do I throw a stat out at you? But when they said he was the first Warrior rookie to put together back-to-back games with a double-double since Steph Curry, that's a stat for you, right? That is a stat for you. Would he have 15 boards last night? He's just inhaling the rebounds. And the thing that he does that all good rebounders do, Looney does it obviously as well, he tracks the ball off the hand of the shooter. If you watch, a lot of guys, like, shot goes up, they go into position and they look at the rim and they wait for the ball. And then now you're in a reactive state, right? But good rebounders, they track the ball the whole way. And so they have a beat on where it's going to go. And Trace has that trait as well. And so, yeah, it's only a matter of time before he's just gobbling up the minutes. And as far as Looney goes, look, this is healthy for Looney. One, I think he needs some rest. He needs obviously to get in better shape. But if you think about it, no one has been pushing Looney, right? We're so depleted with big men. His minutes were guaranteed. And he, just like any other human being, right? Sometimes you need some motivation. So I'm excited to see Looney be motivated by this, get in better shape. And I think Looney will be ready just in time when we need him. But yeah, man, overall, it's a game that you have to win, right? I tweeted this out last night. We've already dug a hole here when you look at the standings. So you have to win the games that you're supposed to. And frankly, the Wizards should be ashamed of themselves. The Wizards, I said it in today's breakdown, I've got an idea for Adam Silver, because this is a bad product. Like, the way you watch the way they guarded Steph in that super low drop with the on-ball defender not even picking him up early, it's a bad product. It's a bad product for the NBA. And I was thinking, what if you just combined the Pistons and Wizards roster into one team and then just moved them to Seattle? That's what they should do, because it's a bad product. It was shameful. But again, the context of the season and where we're at, you got to take the chicken soup game where you can, right? And so here we sit, 14-14. You look at the West, it's all jumbled up. We're 2.5 games out of the 6th spot, right? So you got to keep it rolling tonight against Portland. Let me give you my Underdog Fantasy picks for tonight's Warriors game. I'm going to start off with higher than 13.5 points for Jonathan Kuminga. The role, the opportunity, the confidence, I'm going to just continue to roll the way he's rolling and ride that higher for Kuminga. He had 20 last night. For Portland, Toumani Camara has been an impressive rookie that they picked up in one of the trades they made, and he's a 3-and-D guy. And if you've watched the Blazers matchup against us, Chauncey has him picking up Steph full court ball pressure. He's one of them, and he's a defensive-minded player. So I'm going to go higher than 1.5 blocks and steals combined for Camara. And then last but not least, Brendan Pajemski, higher than 6 rebounds. He steals them from Loon, right? Like, he goes up against anybody and everybody to get those rebounds. And so I always like those chances with that number. Underdog Fantasy, use the code Alchemy, get 100% bonus on your first deposit up to $100. They got a ton of Christmas specials going on that can really kind of get you rolling with your picks. There's one for LeBron Christmas Day. I think it's like half a point. Right? There's give me's to get you going. Support the channel. Use the link in the description. I'll be back with that breakdown tomorrow on the Patreon. And then obviously things are going to get a little more difficult Christmas Day in Denver. GP2 looks like he should be ready to return any day. Like, he's revving the engines. Now we've got more minutes and rotation issues, but I guess you face that when it happens. I'd rather be healthy than not. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.